King County has issued an arrest warrant for Caleb James Cole. He is charged with violating an extreme risk protection order that prohibits him from having firearms. According to court documents, police in Post, Texas stopped a car for speeding last month. It's a traffic stop that turned into a big discovery. Investigators say Cole was driving and his buddy, Aiden Bruce Umbaugh, was in the passenger seat. Police say both men claimed there was nothing illegal inside the vehicle, but after searching, officers say they found 4 rifles, a handgun, 2,000 rounds of ammunition, and small amounts of marijuana and drug paraphernalia. As investigators first reported, the Seattle Police Department was granted an extreme risk protection order against Cole on October 8th. He is the self-proclaimed leader of Atomwaffen in Washington state, a group that has threatened violence in a so-called race war. Using the protection order, police were able to seize 9 firearms and order Cole to stay away from guns for 12 months. So what does all of this mean as a result of this Texas stop, which was less than a month after the protection order went into effect? It means that Cole could be arrested if he steps foot back in Washington state. And as part of the arrest warrant, bail has been set at $20,000. His home address is in Arlington. Meanwhile, King County prosecuting attorney Dan Satterberg said in court documents that Cole has demonstrated he is a risk to public safety and that firearms were in his control, possession, and access. Joyce, back to you.